Hanoi, a whirlwind of scooters, street food, and ancient temples, but I was headed north, drawn by the promise of something different. Giang province, a rugged mountainous region bordering China, was calling. 5 days, 4 nights, a journey into the heart of Vietnam. I craved the open road, the thrill of the unknown. Giang promised towering mountains, winding passes, and remote villages where life unfolded at a different pace. Cao Bang, with its cascading waterfalls and mystical caves, beckoned. And then there was Bobby Lake, a tranquil oasis nestled amidst limestone peaks. This wasn't just about ticking off destinations. It was about experiencing a side of Vietnam few tourists ever see. It was about pushing my boundaries, immersing myself in the local culture, and savoring every moment. The air crackled with anticipation as I boarded the sleeper bus, leaving the familiar chaos of Hanoi behind. The adventure had begun. The bus rumbled north, leaving the rice paddies and bustling towns behind. The landscape transformed, morphing into a tapestry of emerald hills and soaring mountains. This was the beginning of the Northwest Highlands, a world away from the urban sprawl. Our first stop was Bac Sum Pass, a ribbon of asphalt snaking its way through a valley carpeted in vibrant green tea plantations. The air was cool and crisp, a welcome change from Hanoi's humidity. We stopped briefly, taking in the panoramic views and snapping photos of the iconic Twin Mountains, their peaks shrouded in mist. As we climbed higher, the road twisted and turned, revealing breathtaking vistas at every bend. Tam Ma Pass, known as Heaven's Gate, lived up to its name. From its summit, we gazed out at a seemingly endless expanse of jagged peaks, their slopes cloaked in dense jungle. Finally, we reached the Dong Van flagpole, perched precariously on the summit of Lung Khu Mountain. Standing at the northernmost point of Vietnam, a giant Vietnamese flag billowed in the wind, a symbol of national pride and resilience. Day 2 began at the Dong Van ancient fortress, a relic of the French colonial era. Its crumbling walls and weathered cannons whispered tales of battles fought and lost, a stark reminder of Vietnam's turbulent past. We wandered through the ruins, imagining the lives of the soldiers who once guarded this remote outpost. Next up was Ma Pi Leng Pass, arguably the most scenic stretch of road in all of Vietnam. The road clung precariously to the side of the mountain, offering jaw-dropping views of the No Kay River snaking its way through a deep gorge below. It was a scene of breathtaking beauty, a testament to the raw power of nature. We stopped at a small village perched on the edge of the abyss, its wooden houses clinging to the mountainside. Local women, their faces weathered by the sun and wind, sold hand-woven textiles and fresh produce. Their smiles were warm and welcoming, their eyes reflecting a deep connection to this land. Our final stop of the day was the Mao Vac Market, a riot of colors, sounds, and smells. Hmong people from surrounding villages descended upon the town, their traditional indigo clothing creating a sea of blue. We wandered through the stalls, marveling at the handicrafts, spices, and fresh produce on display. As the sun began its descent, we continued our journey, leaving the mountains of Giang behind and heading towards Cao Bang. The road ahead promised more adventures, more stunning scenery, and more opportunities to connect with the heart and soul of Vietnam. The air was thick with humidity as we arrived at Ban Giac Waterfall, one of Southeast Asia's most impressive natural wonders. The roar of cascading water echoed through the air as the Khe Sun River plunged over a sheer cliff face, creating a misty spectacle that took our breath away. We spent hours exploring the falls, marveling at their power and beauty. Bamboo rafts ferried tourists to a small island at the base of the falls, offering a closer look at the thundering water. We opted for a different perspective, hiking to a nearby hilltop for panoramic views of the falls and the surrounding countryside. From the sublime to the mystical, our next stop was Nguyen Ngao Cave, a subterranean wonderland of stalactites, stalagmites, and glistening rock formations. Local legend claims the cave was once home to a monstrous dragon, and as we ventured deeper into its depths, we could almost believe the tales. The air was cool and damp, and the silence was broken only by the sound of our own footsteps and the occasional drip of water. That evening we stayed at a homestay in a nearby village, a cluster of wooden houses nestled amidst rice paddies and limestone peaks. Our host, a kindly old woman with a warm smile, welcomed us into her home as if we were family. We shared a simple but delicious meal of rice, vegetables, and freshly caught fish, laughing and sharing stories despite the language barrier. Section 5. sacred sites, and lakeside tranquility. Day 4 began with a visit to the Pakbo relic site, a place of immense historical significance. It was here in 1941 that Ho Chi Minh returned to Vietnam after decades of exile to lead the country's fight for independence. We visited the cave where he lived and worked, its entrance hidden behind a waterfall, and paid our respects at the nearby museum dedicated to his life and legacy. Our guide, a young man with a passion for his country's history, pointed out the Lenin Stream, a small brook where Ho Chi Minh is said to have bathed and fished. As we stood on the banks of the stream, listening to our guide's stories, we couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the sacrifices made by those who fought for Vietnam's freedom. From the historical to the serene, we continued our journey to Ba Bi Lake, Vietnam's largest natural lake. Surrounded by towering limestone peaks and lush jungle, the lake was a picture of tranquility. We boarded a small wooden boat, its motor sputtering to life, and set off across the emerald green water. Our homestay for the night was in a traditional Tay stilt house perched on the edge of the lake. The air was filled with the sounds of nature, the gentle lapping of water against the wooden stilts, the chirping of crickets, and the distant calls of exotic birds. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the water, we sat on the porch of our homestay, sipping tea and soaking up the peaceful atmosphere. Section 6. A culinary journey through northern Vietnam. Forget fancy restaurants and Michelin stars. Some of the best food I've ever tasted was in the heart of Giang, served on plastic stools by the side of the road. Steaming bowls of po ga, the broth fragrant with ginger and star anise, fueled our mornings. Each day was a new culinary adventure. One evening we feasted on thang ko, a hearty Hmong dish of horse meat and organs stewed with local herbs and spices. It was an explosion of flavors, unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Another night we dined with a local family on bamboo rat, grilled over an open fire and served with sticky rice and a spicy dipping sauce. The food in Cao Bang was just as memorable. We devoured plates of bang quan, steamed rice rolls filled with savory pork and wood ear mushrooms, dipped in a light, flavorful broth. And in a small village near Ba Bi Lake, we sampled Ka Nuang Pa Pin Top, fish grilled in a special clay pot with herbs and spices, its skin crispy and its flesh tender and flavorful. But it wasn't just about the food, it was about the experience. The communal nature of meals, the laughter and conversation shared with strangers, the generosity of the locals, eager to share their cuisine with curious travelers. Section 7. The warmth of strangers, encounters with locals. The people of northern Vietnam are as much a part of the landscape as the mountains and rivers. Their warmth and hospitality left an indelible mark on me, a reminder that genuine human connection transcends language and cultural barriers. I remember the Hmong woman we met at the Mao Vac market. Her face, etched with wrinkles from years spent working under the sun, broke into a wide smile as we admired her intricate embroidery. We couldn't understand a word she said, but her eyes spoke volumes, conveying a lifetime of stories, struggles, and triumphs. Then there was the young Tay man who ferried us across Ba Bi Lake. He spoke limited English, but his enthusiasm for his homeland was infectious. He pointed out hidden waterfalls, shared local legends about the lake's mythical creatures, and even taught us a few words of his language. In each village we visited, we were greeted with curiosity and kindness. Children, their faces lit up with smiles, waved enthusiastically as we passed by. Shopkeepers, eager to practice their English, engaged us in friendly conversation. And in the homestays, families welcomed us into their homes, sharing their meals, stories, and a glimpse into their way of life. These encounters, however brief, were a reminder that the greatest souvenirs we collect while traveling are not material possessions, but the memories we make and the connections we forge with people from all walks of life. Section 8. The Rhythm of the Road. Reflections on Travel. The open road has always held a certain allure for me. It's a place where I can shed the confines of routine, embrace the unknown, and reconnect with something primal within myself. The 5-day journey through northern Vietnam was no different. There's a certain rhythm to life on the road. The early morning departures, the sun casting long shadows across the landscape as we set off on each new adventure. The hours spent gazing out the bus window, lost in thought as the scenery unfolds before you like a never-ending film reel. There's a sense of liberation that comes with traveling this way. No fixed itineraries, no deadlines to meet, just the freedom to wander and explore at your own pace. It allows you to be present in the moment, to savor the journey as much as the destination. And then there are the unexpected detours, The wrong turns that lead to serendipitous discoveries, a hidden waterfall glimpsed from the road, a chance encounter with a local artisan, a spontaneous meal at a roadside eatery. These unplanned moments often turn out to be the most memorable, adding an element of surprise and spontaneity to the journey. Section 9, Giang, a tapestry of culture and nature. Giang is a land of contrasts, where towering mountains meet verdant valleys, where ancient traditions coexist with modern influences. It's a place where you can lose yourself in the raw beauty of nature one moment and find yourself immersed in the vibrant tapestry of local culture the next. The region is a melting pot of ethnic minorities, each with its own unique customs, beliefs, and way of life. The Hmong, the Tay, the Dao, the Lolo, their presence is woven into the very fabric of Giang, from the colorful textiles sold in the markets to the traditional stilt houses perched on the hillsides. But Giang's beauty extends beyond its cultural richness. It lies in the awe-inspiring landscapes that unfold before your eyes at every turn. The winding mountain passes, the cascading waterfalls, the emerald green rice paddies, the limestone peaks shrouded in mist. It's a visual feast that leaves you breathless and humbled by the sheer power of nature. And then there's the silence. A silence so profound, so all-encompassing, that it allows you to hear the beating of your own heart. It's in these moments of quiet contemplation that you truly connect with the soul of Giang, a place where time seems to stand still. Section 10. Beyond the beaten path, an invitation to explore. The world is full of well-trodden tourist paths, places where you're herded from one attraction to the next, camera in hand, souvenir shopping list at the ready. But there's a different kind of travel, one that takes you beyond the guidebooks and into the heart of a destination. Giang is that kind of place. It's a place that demands your attention, that challenges your perceptions, that rewards your curiosity. It's not a destination for the faint of heart, nor for those seeking a sanitized tourist experience. It's for the adventurous souls, the ones who crave authenticity, who embrace the unknown, who are willing to get lost in order to truly find themselves. So, I invite you to go. Venture beyond the familiar, embrace the unfamiliar, and discover the magic that awaits you in the heart of northern Vietnam. Rent a motorbike and explore the winding mountain passes. Hike to remote villages and experience the warmth of local hospitality. Spend your days getting lost in the natural splendor of the region, and your evenings sharing stories and laughter with newfound friends. The journey may challenge you, it may surprise you, it may even change you. But one thing is for sure, it will be an experience you'll never forget. Section 11, Until next time, Vietnam. As my bus rumbled back towards the familiar chaos of Hanoi, I couldn't shake the feeling that a part of me would forever remain in the mountains of northern Vietnam. The memories of soaring peaks, cascading waterfalls, and vibrant cultures were etched into my mind, a reminder of the beauty and adventure that awaits those who dare to venture off the beaten path. The journey had been everything I had hoped for and more. It had tested my limits, broadened my horizons, and left me with a profound appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit and the breathtaking diversity of our planet. Vietnam, you had captivated me with your chaotic charm, your ancient traditions, your resilient people, and your untamed landscapes. You had reminded me of the power of travel to open our minds, touch our hearts, and inspire us to live more fully and authentically. So until next time, Vietnam, I know our paths will cross again. There are still mountains to climb, rivers to cross, and stories waiting to be told. And when that time comes, I'll be ready for another adventure, another journey into the heart and soul of this captivating land.